to do computer and see how it goes. Awesome. All right. So glad you guys are here. I have a PowerPoint presentation to share with you here. Let's see if we can get that up. And there we are. So welcome. And just to let you guys know that I'm really bummed that we couldn't do what we normally do, because what we normally do is kind of amazing. We have a giant pool party that happens outside. Last year we had a little issue with we couldn't use the pool, but you know, normally it's a giant pool party and the kids are stoked while I run this meeting inside. And so bummed that we can't do it that way. I even showed you a picture here of one that we've done in the past. It's super fun. But we're just gonna go with the next best thing, and but we're glad you're here. And at the end of this, if you wanna get coffee with me, or if you have any further questions, feel free to do that. Welcome all those things. So, all right, so who are our Young Life staff here in Snoqualmie Valley? So there's myself. My name's Michelle Carnes, and I'm the area director, and I've been on staff here in Snoqualmie Valley for 8 years. I have 2 kids who are a senior and a freshman at Mount Si. I have one that will be graduating here in about a week. And then Stacy, who is also on this call, she's our area administrator. Wave, Stacy, say hi, everybody. And she's been on staff since March of 2019, so a little over a year. And then she has a current 5th and 3rd grader. So she has an incoming 6th grader. Stacy is joining the WyldLife party officially, which is fantastic. And then, so now I'm going to share with you some news, and just so you guys know, it's some major inside information. This has not been announced to our community, so you're welcome on getting the inside scoop. But we just hired a gal named Haya Pyatt, who will be joining us in August, and she is fantastic, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. She's married, and that's her and her husband there on the left, and she's currently in Pennsylvania, but she's actually bought a house in North Bend, and she's relocating here to our valley, and she will be focused on our WyldLife program, and at Twin Falls, Chief Canum, and SMS, and outlying private schools. So crazy excited that she'll be joining us. She has so much energy. She's so much fun. And as soon as fall comes and we can, you know, be doing clubs again, I really hope that you will join us. I really hope that you will meet her and take a second to do that, because she's super, super neat. So what is Young Life? So the basic mission statement of Young Life is introducing adolescents to Jesus Christ and helping them grow in their faith. That's the basic principle of Young Life. Obviously, so much builds up on that, on top of that, but that is the basic mission statement of Young Life. So founded in 1941, essentially the way I really basically like to describe it is, in Texas there was a youth pastor, and he looked across the street from his church and saw a school and said, how do we connect these two things? How do we connect this church with that school? And he decided that he needed to be in the school, and that's where it was at. And so Young Life was born during that time. It's really important for you to know how huge Young Life is. It's not just here in Snoqualmie Valley. It's in 8,100 areas in over 100 countries around the world. Involve the lives of more than 2.6 million kids annually, and over 260,000 kids attend a Young Life weekend or summer camp each year. It's giant. And so I love our little area, but it's so important to know that this is a global deal, and people around the world are doing the same thing we are. So I am going to unshare this, and then I'm going to go to a video. So just to set up this video a little bit, this was created for a banquet, a fundraiser that we had, and I'm in it. You'll see me. But I think it really gives a good picture of Young Life and what we do. So let me see if I can get this figured out here. Okay, I have to end show. Hold on. Hey, there we are. All right, so hopefully you can hear this okay.
Fun. It's so much fun.
Fun. How fun it was.
As a camper, it was amazing. My parents weren't there, which was very fun for me. And it's just amazing. It's so much fun. Everyone there is so nice. And it's such a relaxed environment. You can really be yourself.
But also the fact that it all tied back to who Jesus is and how extravagantly he loves us and how fun loving Jesus is.
The games are pretty fun. I mean, there's some pretty great games that they do at club. But club talk is always great. Like, it's just a time where you get, like, the main idea of what Young Life really is all about.
In my sophomore year of high school, I quit softball, and that opened up the doorway for me to be able to go to Malibu Camp in BC, in Canada, and I walked up the boardwalk, and I was like, okay, this place is different, like, what the heck? My life was, like, changed. I was amazed that the gospel could be fun, and it could be enjoyable, and that kids could learn about who Jesus is and not feel pressured to say the right thing or be the right thing or whatever I'd felt in the past from past experiences. And I think some of my best friends have come out of that trip just, because we are all new to Young Life. I think that was kind of the catalyst to just making such incredible friends and then having us be able to introduce the younger kids, like, you guys need to go. Like, this is incredible.
A Young Life leader is about relationship always first. We just sat down at the table and she started asking me about who I was and my family and where I came from. And no one had ever done that with me before. She is the one that I call when I need to bounce ideas off of, or if I really need advice about things. And that has been since I was 22 years old. I am now 58. This is a total gift of hers to just be a really wonderful listener. God totally brought her into my life, which is somebody who is gifted at doing that at the time when I needed it the most.
Many of the relationships that I have that are meaningful started at Malibu that have carried on.
Jesus was all about relationship first, and that's what we do. We are all about relationship first with kids.
Young Life is relationships. Relationships with kids, relationship with other leaders, relationships with people that you work with. It is all about relationships. And most importantly, it's about a relationship with Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't be sitting here without a personal relationship with Christ. Many Young Life leaders listened to me well and helped me in my understanding of God's Word.
What's talked about is just Jesus and how much he loves us, what he's done for us, and what we can do to have a great relationship with him.
Everything points back to Jesus, like our club talks, our games, our mixers, our free time, our conversations, the food we eat. The way we eat our food is sometimes a little weird. That still somehow points back to Jesus. So that's all I can think of when I think of what Young Life is.
Hi, I'm Gail, and I met Sue Watson in 1980.
Hi, I'm Sue Watson, and I had the privilege of being Michelle and Sean's Young Life leader. My name is Michelle Carnes, and I am Emily's Young Life leader.
My name is Emily Webb, and I'm Hannah Christensen's leader.
Happy 75th.
75th birthday, Young Life. It's been a great ride.
Awesome. All right, let me go back to sharing my PowerPoint. Whoop. Cool. So just to give you guys a quick, about my story. So just as it said in the video, that gal Sue, I met my kind of the middle of my senior year, and I was a bit of a mess. And she really did show up at a very pivotal time, which did end up being my senior year. I don't even know, honestly, that I would have graduated from high school. And it was a really big life-changing deal for me to then go to camp that summer. And I sort of missed out on all the middle school and all the camps. So my senior year, I did it all. I went to Malibu and all these things. I'll talk about those camps in just a minute. But yeah, it's very near and dear to my heart, which is why I'm so passionate about being a part of this. So to get into a little bit more about Young Life is the 5 C's of Young Life. I'll try to not make this too boring. But we have a committee, which is amazing. It's not just Michelle out here with Stacy doing this thing. We also have a committee, a board, some people have heard that term before, whose committee's purpose is to share responsibility for the ministry with the local Young Life staff. So we have Wendy, who's on this call, who's our committee chair, and we're going to introduce her in a little bit. We have our prayer coordinator, who's Stacy, who double roles, admin in that role. I have somebody in finance who helps me with the budget, approves every dime we spend in Young Life. We have folks on the committee that help with fundraisers, and we're friends, and we do this thing together, and actually we have a lot of fun in the process. It's amazing to be part of a team, and that I'm not alone out here in what I do. And so I'm so eternally grateful for them and that team. So then we have club. So we usually have anywhere from 50 would be a lower club, 70 would be a bigger club. We've had even 100 kids at a middle school WyldLife club before. It's the way it kind of goes is that kids are dropped off and they check in at the door real quick, and a computer. It's just like their first name school. We don't ask for a lot of information. It's just pretty basic, just knowing that they're there. And they collectively all congregate, and then we all go in together, and sometimes we'll do music, which could be like Just Dance or just different things. And then we go into these great games. There's characters. You can see a picture on the screen there of kind of like on the left there of a typical club. We do stuff outdoors. We've done color wars. We've done all sorts of things. Normally, if we were having an end of year club, I would invite your your incoming 6th graders to our last WyldLife of the year, which is generally a color wars club. And so super bummed we can't have them a part of that, but it's a lot of fun, and it has them always really stoked for the fall and what's coming. You do need to do a form to have your kids participate in WyldLife. And when this call is over, Stacy is going to send out an email with all the links and all the information that you need. But it can also, you just email us. We can get you that link. I think it's even on our website. So you click on that, you just fill out a few things, and it's good. You only do it once ever, and so then you're all set for that. So that does need to happen. but we'll make sure we get you that information. And I would suggest, whether they want to be a part of it or not, have them just fill out that form so they're just in the system. And then if they come to it, you know, if they can't because of sports or whatever, and they want to join us mid-year, they're at least all set. So we'll encourage you to do that, but we'll get you that stuff. And then we also do a raffle too at the end, and there's always a message. There's always a club talk. It's short. It's geared completely towards a middle school student, and it's Jesus focused and Bible focused. And it like I said, it speaks their language. It's in language that they can understand. And there's always an opportunity to meet with a leader or ask questions after if they'd like. And then we generally send all the kids out. We put treats outside, and then all the kids just run outside at that point, and then they get picked up by their parents. So, and that'll vary just a little bit. We've been meeting at basically SMS and what they call the fishbowl in the center of the school for a while now. I think with what's going on, I have a feeling we're not going to be able to rent that space this year. I think the school is going to have a tighter grip on rentals, but we generally start the year off outdoors. So as soon as we're allowed to do that with restrictions, we'll do that. And then I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a giant structure going up. It's right across from the Encompass building, right down from like Calvary Chapel and Mount High Sports and Fitness. It's a beautiful building. It's called the YAC, or the Youth Activity Center. And we're gonna have full free access of that building. I'm so excited about this building. I don't know when it's going to be done, but they're so close. My husband was just there and did a FaceTime video today, and it's beautiful. So swing in there sometime and go and take a peek in the windows. Go for a little drive, check it out. You can totally go do that. And it's a really, really neat. It has a gorgeous view of Mount Si. So I cannot wait to get into that building. So that's kind of what's going through my head right now, of like hoping to get into that building. Hopefully we can do outdoor stuff. We just have to wait and see. But yeah, so camp, super important. I'm gonna show you a camp video in just a moment, but this is how Snoqualmie Valley structures our camps. So we have sixth graders, and this is not for incoming sixth graders. This is when you have finished sixth grade. So almost in Young Life, you have to think of it as your sixth grader is a sixth grader through summer, and they're not technically a seventh grader until fall. You have to have that kind of mind in a way. So when I say sixth grade, they just finished their sixth grade year and they're going to sixth grade camp in the summer. So sixth graders go to a camp in Canyon. It's in Central Oregon. 7th, 8th go to the same camp, the same property, but on the other side is Creekside. And I'm going to show you a video of Creekside in just a moment. In 9th grade, they go back to Canyon, but it's a totally different camp. They have access to totally different things at Canyon, totally different rides, totally different activities, totally different programming. And then 10th and 12th grade, 10th through 12th grade, they can go to Malibu. And then other opportunities, and Malibu, I'm sorry, is in British Columbia. So it's out of the country. It's quite a trek. It takes about 12 hours from here to get here. It feels like the movie Trains, Planes, and Automobiles just a little bit, if you've ever seen that movie, because you get on a bus at 1 a.m. and travel all night and go over the border, and then you're getting on a boat. Like in my mind, it's a very extravagant trip. And when this video is done, I highly suggest you look up a video of Young Life Malibu and their videos, and it's just absolutely incredible. If let's say they go to Malibu their 10th grade year and they're looking for something more, we highly suggest Beyond Malibu. So further in the inlet of Malibu is Beyond. So that's a backpacking adventure. It's smaller groups, only about 8. Go up on these epic, if they're not hikes, they're climbing trips. You know, this is ice axes, this is helmets, this is serious stuff, and it's absolutely incredible. And I've had a lot of kids tell me that all the camps were so incredible, but that was just like the pinnacle of everything. And it was the least resort like, you know, so, which surprised me. But yeah, it's a really neat experience for the kids. We get to send to that. Another option too is that if they are all in and they're just a part of what we're doing and have given their lives to Jesus, basically, they can sign up for work crew and go and live and work at a Young Life camp for a month in the summer, which is an incredible experience. They work their tails off. No, it's not paid. You actually even have to pay a little if you have to do Malibu, because you have to pay for your transportation, but it's every kid that does it, it's just an unreal experience, especially before going off to college. It's just a really, really neat discipleship experience for them. So I'm going to show you this camp right here, Creekside, a quick video. It's pretty short. Watch me accidentally end this call. Oh, and that's what I did. I think I lost my, hold on. There it is. I'm getting better at this. Let me see your hands up, up, up in the air. Higher and higher. See your hands up in the air. Higher and higher, higher and higher. Hands up, up, up in the air. Higher and higher. See your hands up, up in the air. Higher and higher, higher and higher. All right. I feel I feel sad, to be honest, watching that movie or video. I'm sure Wendy does a little bit too, since she was gonna go there this summer. But we'll get there, Wendy, we will. All right, let me get to my PowerPoint. Awesome. So that was Creekside for 7th and 8th grade. As you can see, it's not a typical camp that you would think of. A lot of kids actually go expecting camp, but it's a resort. It's absolutely beautiful and maintained, beautiful, and it's a total blast. We typically start selling camp right around December 1st. It's $100 deposit to hold your spot, and it is totally refundable until April 1st. So you can cancel till then. There's a little $10 fee we keep to cover just the credit card costs and that, but we always say just get a spot, as our leaders are meeting kids and encouraging them to get into spots. Even if you don't know your schedule, just get a spot, and it's super fun. We do have first timers have priority into spots, and so if a student has already been in 7th grade, they'll be on the wait list for 8th grade, and if 8th grade they haven't been, they'll get priority. Always first timers have priority. Really, Creekside, sometimes Malibu, but usually Creekside's the only one that would carry some kind of wait list like that. And we can get most kids in there generally, but yeah. So if you got any more questions about that, we'd love to answer them. Camp was such a big deal for me, and so glad I had that opportunity. The next, jumping ahead there. There we go. No, that was right. So the next C in Young Life is campaigners. It's super weird. To me, that word campaigners sounds like we're campaigning, like we're political, but it's not. Really, Young Life, when they first started, they called it the Young Life campaign, and they dropped the word campaign and just called it Young Life, and then picked it up again, the word, as referring to like small group. At camp, we take kids to camp, and we have cabin time, which is this really great focus time as a small group at camp with your cabin, and they call it cabin time. And so kind of in Snoqualmie Valley, we've adopted that term more so than campaigners. We call it cabin time. Like, hey, we're at camp doing cabin time. When we come back, can we keep doing cabin time and getting together as a group and small group? And that's, and so you'll hear campaigners, but you'll mostly hear like cabin time or cabin time continued from camp. You'll see that this bottom left picture right here. That's my cabin time. That's my group. And then I added a couple pictures of some Zoom calls that have happened during this time as cabin times continue over Zoom. That's Wendy in that top left right there. Top left Zoom. And then crew, I just wanted to kind of throw out a little information about that just so it's not confusing. But once our Young Life kids have gone to Young Life camp and they become juniors and seniors, we invite them to what's called crew. You could also call it discipleship, or or like student leaders, different terms for it, but we just call it crew here. And this is our crew for this year. And we get together actually at Wendy's house. You'll find out she's all involved in this Snoqualmie Valley thing with us. But it's a neat time of discipleship. We were cut short, obviously, this year for those guys, but that's it's been just a really neat ongoing thing in Snoqualmie Valley that has grown, and they all get to design a shirt together. That's the sweatshirt Wendy is wearing, the blue hoodie, yes, that they designed this year. and it's really, really special, and we really get to know them well. But it's like a cabin time, like a campaigners. It's a smaller group, even though they actually continue with their own times with their leader as well. It's just another option, an additional thing to be a part of. So then the final C is contact work. And for us, this is, it's funny I put it last, but it's really the number one. This is where we meet kids where they're at. This is how we invite them to camp. This is how we invite them into cabin time. This is how we invite them to club. This is how we meet them as leaders go where the kids are at. Their school, their sports events. This center picture right here is I'm at Mount Si High School. We have a club that happens during school at Mount Si, which is super cool. That when your kids get older, we can talk more about that. And then the bottom right, you'll see my husband. He's hiking with a group of boys that he's getting to know. But yeah, it's really just going where the kids are hanging out, Starbucks, I mean, you name it. And, you know, sometimes they'll look around and wonder, do you have friends? Do you, why are you always here? You know? But Young Life leaders keep showing up, and it's really neat. And it's really the first thing in Young Life before camp, cabin time, club. It's really the number one thing, because so much Young Life happens in that space, even if they don't go to camp or club or part of a small group. Leaders meeting kids and having lunch with them. And here's the really, really neat thing about Snoqualmie Valley, and it's unique. It's not everywhere. We've had a full access pass into all our schools in the Valley, at Twin Falls, SMS, and Chief Caneham, and Mount Si, especially Mount Si. I'm given a pass at the door that I wear. It actually says staff on it, which is kind of funny. That was like a mistake, but they value me and their school so much that they would do that they would give me a card with my photo, that I can just come in anytime I want. That's amazing. That's just, yeah, that it's just such a gift. And I don't take that for granted even a little bit. So yeah, and so next I really want you guys to meet Wendy Neslin. I'm unmuting her now. So Wendy is our committee chair. As I mentioned earlier, she is also helps me with discipleship and crew. She is also now that because she had a sixth grader this year, or sorry, she has seventh grader this year, and now she's going to have another sixth grader next year. Is also a WyldLife leader. So Wendy, give me just a little overview of like what that's been like to be involved with you, you know, as you were a Young Life kid yourself, being a leader, being on committee, just being a part of this in your life.
Yeah, so actually it was Chad who was the Young Life kid. It wasn't me.
Oh, that's right. I knew that.
I was a church kid, but my husband Chad actually met Jesus. He had a Young Life leader who was like on his tail for about a year when he was about 14 to 15 years old, and got him to go to Malibu. And he met Jesus at Malibu at Flag Point, for those of you who know Malibu. But so when we met as leaders actually at a church during college, and then fast forward quite a few years, because we were in Oregon, moved to Renton, got plugged in at Newport High School, led there for like 3 years, and then we moved to the Valley. But took a little hiatus to have some kids. But about 7 years, I think it's been 7 years now that we've been on committee. We got plugged in, and it's been so fun being involved in Young Life in all the different ways that we've been able to be involved. Our kids, like Michelle said, I have a 7th grade daughter. I'm going into 8th grade next year, and I have an incoming 6th grade son. And then I've been able to lead my daughters. So this is the second year. Really bummed that we're not going to get to go to Creekside. We went to Canyon last year, and that was really fun. And I think they were all the girls were looking forward to Creekside this year. But we have one more year to make it. So let's just hope this all clears up so we can go next year. But yeah, it's been amazing. We love crew. I think when my husband and I met, we were leading high school kids in a youth group, and we both have a heart for that age group as well. And so it's been really fun to see being a WyldLife leader as well as a crew leader, I guess, if you want to call it that, the different ages and just the different stages they're in. They're just such different ages in their faith. Contact work looks completely different with the two, but so good. It was really fun to see that first video that was played. One of the gals, Emily, is actually getting married next Friday to her high school sweetheart that they met basically through Young Life at the high school. And so that's super exciting. And then Hannah is a senior and will be graduating. So that's super fun. But yeah, it's really fun. It's a great place to be a part of. I think the Valley has a real unique demographic in that it's very community. So I feel like it's definitely different than how it was when we were leading before. And maybe that's because we have our own kids now and that changes it. But our committee rocks. We laugh so hard. And so I think we love each other so much and just want to lift up this ministry. So it's a great place to do Young Life.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, Wendy's a huge part of what we do, and her and Chad have become good friends, and it's been really neat to be a part, to have them a part of this. So staying connected, super important, kind of knowing the when and the where of all things. I send out a bi-monthly newsletter around the first and the third-ish week of each month with information. It's loaded with calendar link and club flyers and kind of just what's going on, keeping you updated, fundraisers, things like that. We also have our website, great place to find all things going on. Again, our calendar link, the form to fill out for WyldLife, all those things. You can see on the screen here is our Instagram. We have a Snoqualmie Valley Young Life. We have a Snoqualmie Valley Young Life Facebook page, but we also have a WyldLife group page, just WyldLife, and it's a group, and it's a closed group, and I make it closed so that I can share some photos from club of I just don't want to be putting middle school kids all over Facebook, so it's kind of just this private group among parents, and I have to allow them in, so I'd love for you to be a part of that. And join if you're on Facebook. And then remind texts is also another way. I highly encourage, you as a parent could sign up for that, but have your kids, if they have a phone. If they don't, I totally understand. And I think it has to be a smartphone for this. So when they get to that point and they have a phone, have them sign up. Until then, do your phone. That's great. But if you send a text to that 81010 and you send the text at SVWL, they'll get reminders. They'll sometimes get, just fun and stuff. We've even sent out a thing saying, find this leader and ask them this question and we'll give you an extra raffle ticket. We've had things like that. So like I said, you could be on it, but more importantly, have your student be on that. And when this call's over, like I said, Stacy is going to send the links to all of these things. So don't feel like you have to quickly be writing them all down. We'll make sure you have access and information to all this stuff, so you can have the choice to hop on there and know what's going on. So how you can help this is how you can be a part of this if you would like we said, there's no pressure. But I love our WyldLife parent support team. It's a really big deal. And honestly, without it, we just probably should just pack it up and go home, because it's such a big deal for us. It's supplies for club. It's the cookies that I talked about outside. It's parents walking the hall. We made sure that there's parents kind of in the vicinity, that if kids kind of wander out, they follow them, or if they use the restroom, they make their way back in, that they aren't disappearing. Just keeping things safe. Safety is just a huge priority, and it's a really big deal. Now, the cool thing about this WyldLife parent support team is that we have a huge number of parents on this WyldLife parent support team. It's a pretty significant group. And so therefore, if you're not available or you're gone, you just don't sign up. It's okay, because there's enough people, they will. And we use a system called Sign Up. And so we put in all the things that we need for you to either physically be there or supplies. And then you could just go in and sign up or don't, or, whatever, to either help being there or to bring, hey, I need the supplies. I just have people all week long drop them off on my porch. It's just usually the easiest way to drop them off, just whenever you're in the neighborhood, or I can swing by. And yeah, but like I said, sign up for something. Oh, so a lot of people now are using Amazon, and then just having the supplies, they just show up on my doorstep through Amazon. What a world we live in. How amazing is that? And so, and then what happens is you get that the week before, and then the club is always on Friday. So by Monday or Tuesday, if I feel like we don't have enough chaperones or we don't have enough supplies, we'll send out another email saying, hey, everybody, we still have some more things that need to be filled. Can you jump in there and try to get those filled? Yeah. And it's generally not a huge problem. I think sometimes we could use more parents there and in the hallway, but it's something usually we can fill. So we'd love for you to be a part of that, so we can just have a large pool of parents to pull from, that even if a parent just did one club a year, it would take care of all of it if even just half the people did that. So becoming a leader. Wendy knows all about that. That is, it's a crazy experience to take these kids to camp, to know them in a whole new and different way. All 100%, well, is that right? 100%, yeah, of all our leaders are parents. And it works. And if it's something that you want to learn more about and get more information, I would, Stacy's going to send that to you after this. But if you want to take it a step further and have a conversation with me over Zoom, or get coffee, because I just feel that phase 2 is just right around the corner. I feel it. We could do that. And I would love to share about what it means to be a leader and what that looks like. Join committee. Right now we have kind of all our main committee roles filled, but I would love to see partners in that. So Stacy having prayer partners as part of the committee, for our fundraiser events. You want to spend other people's money and you love events, help us put on our annual banquet. Marcy Nicholson helps me with that, but I know she would love somebody to help her. So there's places on committee to be a part of that. And even if you just want to join the prayer team, Stacy will give you a link for that as well. If you just want to be praying for the ministry, and that's great too. And finally, donate. We are 100% locally funded. We're not asking for donations in this call, but I just want to make everyone aware that it's 100% locally funded here in Snoqualmie Valley. We don't get any special money from anywhere else. We have to raise it here in the Valley to keep it going. And you'll get a link to be able to donate from Stacy. But again, there's no pressure. At this point, we just really want you to be a part of it and your kids to be a part of it. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much everything that I have. Here is our website here. that you can go to, like I said, for more information. And then Stacy's gonna send links to all those things so that you can stay connected. Does anybody have any questions that they have? No? All right, well, feel free to email. I'm hoping that I can, let me stop sharing here. I'm hoping that I can share this video out, you know, and get more information, and that you can share it as well with other people so that they can learn more about what WyldLife is, and join us in the fall. I wish I had a crystal ball that could tell us when we can start doing this again. It's literally enough to make you crazy. We so desperately wanted our end of the year giant color wars where we invite incoming 6th graders to that. But we know as soon as we can gather, if that's August, if that's September, if that's even October, we're gonna just throw a giant WyldLife party, as big as we're allowed to do. And my hope is that you bring your kids and that they come and be a part of it and just get really excited about this year. And if there's anything that I can do, or our other leaders or anything, please let us know. This is just such a crazy time. Yeah, awesome. All right, I'm gonna